Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 908. My name is Christina and on today's episode I'm showing you some new products from Spellbinders Media Mixage and Ice Resin. Today I am showing you some new products from Spellbinders, part of their Media Mixage collection, and they introduced these cute hat pins. There's a variety of different shapes. I have the ovals and I have the diamonds, and in each package you get two of the larger size and two of the smaller size. You can see the larger size here. I'll be showing you the samples I made using those. And they come in sort of this bronzy color and a silver color. Now, of course, you get the coordinating dies to go with it. So that way you can cut out your paper and it will fit exactly into that shape. You don't have to do any fussy cutting or that. It all fits together. They also have some new texture plates, and this one is really neat. You might be able to see that there's some texture that isn't as in depth as some of this other texture. So you have all different layers of depths of texture in it. I like this one with all sort of the collage words and that. It's called Poetry. And there's even a new Media Mixage paper pack, Ephemera paper pack number 3. And with this one I found, I'll flip through, there's a lot of like circles already. So if you were cutting out circles, some squares, larger circles. So there's different elements here you can cut out if you want that shape already. I like this little doily one. I had cut out some of those. So you can just see some of the designs. And then of course on the back side is just a nice soft sort of vintagey print that you can also use. So with these products, I actually turned my hat pins into little pendants. You can use them as pendants for jewelry, or this time of season I thought they'd be cute to hang on the tree. So I just tied little ribbons so I can hang these on my Christmas tree. And so in this one I embedded some little crystals on top of my paper, and then we're using ice resin today to fill it in to give you that beautiful jewelry finish quality. So all of these have ice resin, but it is so clear that you may not even be able to notice, but it is there. So in here I embedded a little key charm and made with love charm. This is, I used the foil with that little embossing texture plate. So you can see how some of the texture is light and then some is a lot deeper. And then this, I took my ice resin and coated paper to make sort of this really interesting effect with the paper. I'll show you the larger samples of that in a bit. So I'm going to show you how I turn the hat pins into a pendant. So I have this hat pin here. It's one of the large diamonds. And what I've done is I've taken my little jewelry pliers that are round, the round sides or whatever, and I've gone to the end and then just twisted it around. And I've been able to grab a bit more. And I'm just twisting them. Actually, I forgot my first step. Before we want to twist it, we want to put some beads on that. So give me a second here. So the first thing I did, was put some beads on. Let's see if I can still get my beads on now that I've twisted it. So I put 3 little pink beads like that, and then a big bead, just getting stuck since I did that first. There we go. I got my big bead almost on. You can do it, big bead. There it is. And then I'm going to put 3 little beads. Now you just want to make sure your bead hole is big enough to go onto the metal. So there. So now I want to go in and start twisting this. Now depending on which ribbon you are using will depend how big of a hole you need. If you're putting this on a big necklace ribbon, you want a larger hole. So I just keep moving my pliers around until I have reached my beads. Like that. So we have, now what you can also do is take your flat pliers and just sort of push them together where you want them. Sort of like that. So now it is time to decorate our area. So I have cut out a little diamond using my die, and I'm going to use some multi-medium to glue it to the base. So I'm putting multi-medium in here, and then this will just fall right in, and then I'm going to put another layer of multi-medium on top, because that way when it is protected when the ice resin hits it. Otherwise it'll make it look sort of translucent, the paper, and I don't want the backside showing, so I'm going to put that. And then I have this little resin rose I'm going to glue in there as well. I'm going to put a bit of extra multi-medium here. And put that there. I'm just going to hit it quickly with the heat gun to dry some of that excess multi-medium. Okay, that's good enough for now. And so now I'm going to just put this aside. So here I have my ice resin. I've already used some of it. I've just put the little cap on while I wasn't using it. And you can see that there is like a clear and sort of a yellowed sort of side. So when these two mix together, they will form that nice hard coating we want. So you take it off, and what you do is you get a little container. I got these from the dollar store. And you use both thumbs and press it in so you get equal amounts of both sides. And now I'm going to take my little popsicle stick and stir for about 1 minute to make sure that those two sides are nice and combined. So it'll be about 1 minute. So I've stirred it for about a minute. So now it is ready to pour into my bezel. Let's take some of that off. So I'm going to bring this back out. And then I want to slowly fill up just like that. So I'm going to just put it aside. Sometimes good to put it on something so you can move it around. Now I have some excess ice resin, and another thing you can do is coat paper with it. Here's a couple pieces I did. This was from that butterfly, And what it is, it makes the paper sort of translucent so that back design shows through, which is sort of neat. Here's another piece I coated a bit. So you can see that this was the back side of the paper, but all those designs are now coming through. Or here on this side, the designs from the back sort of show through. So what you do is you take your piece of paper, get a brush, and you pour some on, and then just sort of brush it out. And this is another fun way to use your excess, because sometimes you make extra because you want to make sure you have enough for your pendant you're doing or whatever you're filling, that you can coat paper with it. And you can see it sort of soaks through. So I can put that piece aside, and I can get myself another piece of paper. And then afterwards you want to make sure your brush is really well rinsed out, because this will harden. And so you just, this stuff dries, air dries. You don't have to put it in the oven or anything. You just let it sit for 6 to 12 hours just to air dry. So we're going to revisit that in 5 minutes. I'm just giving it 5 minutes to set. And then we're going to see if there's any air bubbles. So we'll be back in a moment. So after it sets for about 5 minutes or so, you might notice, or you may not, that there's little air bubbles. And this is the time you can go in with a little pin and just pop those air bubbles. Now sometimes I find I can't pop it, so I'll just sort of move it to the side out of my way. And then just clean off the end of and there might just be some little air bubbles. So try to pop them and move them. So you just do it with the end of a little pin. And then once you're done popping your little air bubbles, you set it aside, and in 6 to 12 hours you'll have a beautiful finished piece like this with a nice clear hard coating protecting your charm or whatever you've embedded. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you the latest scrapbooking mystery from Laura Childs. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.